Alright, hello there. We have an urgent breaking news story that happened overnight in Bayside and what the media is ignoring. And I had to find out from the Bayside Queens Facebook group. I was just randomly going through Facebook this morning. And of course, once I heard about this, I had to make a video. So let me just put my mic up so you all can hear me a little bit better. There we go. That's much better now. So let's get into the breaking news. So there was a shooting in Bayside. That, again, the Bayside Queens Facebook group was the first to be aware of it. So here we go. So it says here that one person was hurt when gunfire interrupted in one of the quietest corners of the 5 boroughs early Saturday, neighbors and police said. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that word was correct, because sometimes you could have typos with these. Stefan Morawski, who lives on 38th Avenue in Bayside, said, "We all thought it was fireworks." And it says here that the shots rang out at 3 a.m. on March 19th. This was between 200 9th Street and Corporal Kennedy. Residents of the leafy suburban-style neighborhood claimed to have heard nearly 24 gunshots, though police would not only confirm that more than one shot was fired. One man who was sitting in the back seat of a car when he was shot, police said. He was taken to Booth Memorial Medical Center in Flushing with non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made. A state employee who lives in the neighborhood reports that his 2 cars were hit a total of 3 times, including one bullet that punctured the driver's side rear tire of a Dodge Charger. So this is what a couple pictures look like. I mean, you could obviously tell these are gunshots. The man who told the New York Post said, "Bayside is the safest neighborhood in Queens, the safest period. We've never seen anything like this. There's never been a shooting from what I can recall. Well, I've been seeing a couple crazy things in Bayside happening. I've been seeing homeless people hanging around. I've been seeing, harassment against strangers. I mean, come on. 111 precincts claiming there is no shooting since the start of 2022 in that sector. Well, this is the first one, and obviously Channel 1 and the rest of the media are ignoring it. I can't even find anywhere else about what happened. So we're going to go on to here. Bayside Queen shooting. So let's see what we got. Yep, see what I mean? There's only one article, and that was from the New York Post. So, obviously, you're not going to find it anywhere else. So, what I'll do is I'll leave this article in the description below so you have proof that I'm not lying, that we actually do have a media source that actually covered this. So, it says here that it happened at 200 9th Street in Corporal Kennedy. So, we're going to go on Google Maps, and I'm going to show you where this is in just a second. So, we're going to go into Bayside, and we're going to go to Corporal Kennedy Street right now. So here we go. Just making sure we can find it right around here. Alright. So this was 38th Avenue? Yeah, 38th Avenue. So it says here that, yeah, 209th and Corporal Kennedy. Okay. So I'm thinking probably happened around... It happened around here. That's where I think it probably happened. So, yeah, I have walked in this area before. Now I'm going to be having second thoughts now. Because, you would think this is a normally quiet area. But again, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on around here. And guess where our mayor is, you may be wondering. He's not even in New York. He's in Chicago.
Major city dealing with a surge in crime. Mayor Adams traveled to Chicago today to meet with Mayor Lightfoot.
And gun violence was just one of the topics they discussed. Jessica Russo joins us now.
Yeah, talk about gun violence in New York, not go to Chicago.
The mayor spoke behind closed doors before holding Friday to meet.
Yeah, look at this. Look at him hanging out with Beetlejuice.
Chicago and New York City is dominating headlines for both mayors. We just had a robust conversation with the superintendent.
No one cares about you. Shut up. Alright, there's a shooting in a quiet area in Queens. What do you have anything to do with this, Lightfoot? Go worry about your own city.
Work together to combat crime and focus on intervention and prevention.
We have to turn off the faucet that is continually feeding the river of violence in our cities.
Adam says there is a
What we need to do is bring back stop and frisk. That's what we need to do. But no, because that's too radical. We're never going to go back to that. And we're never going to get rid of cash bail laws. And you know the governor's all talk. In fact, she's claiming that, oh, I might want to make some changes to bail reform. Yeah. Yeah, here's the proof right here. You want to go online? Here's the same New York Post we just read from. Here's the same New York Post. Same one. Governor Hochul to pitch changes to bail reform law. So here we go. So, the New York Post is claiming that judges would give more discretion to order bail and detain criminal defendants for a host of additional crimes based on their criminal history, including repeat offenses. So, look at this. The governor's trying to get this all done in the state budget, which is due a week from this Friday. A week from this Friday on April 1st. Is this really going to be an April Fool's joke, Governor? Are you really pulling an April Fool's joke early on us? You know why she's doing this. She's desperate for votes right now. But what about lowering our taxes? What about lowering the state sales tax to 7%? What about eliminating the gas tax, Governor? We're paying the most ridiculous taxes in the entire country right now. And what are our tax dollars giving us? Crime, crime, and more crime. And if you're not getting more crime, you're getting people literally pooping on the street and urinating on the subway platform. I got proof of that. I have an article we're going to read later on regarding that. Man got shoved in the subway in Queens. Meanwhile, let's see what our friends at Channel 1 are up to. So, I will give Channel 1 some credit. They are going back to publishing videos. Let's watch this one first. And no, we're not going to watch In the Papers today. If anybody's asking me if we're going to watch In the Papers, no, we're not.
Punched her right in the head and she went like this.
Manuel Colon describes what he says was an unprovoked attack on a regular who was just reading the menu of his French bistro restaurant Thursday afternoon.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, what? So I came running out, and he started walking. I said, are you okay? Are you okay? She's fine. I said, have a seat, get a chair.
According to police, the attack happened shortly after 3:30 p.m. The victim, a woman in her 90s. The suspect was later identified as 35-year-old Enrique Loza. Authorities say he punched the woman in the back of the head and continued walking along Columbus Avenue. That's when Colon and his bartender decided to take action.
I mean, my goodness, that's disturbing. I mean, at least Channel 1 spent 2 minutes on this. There we go. So it says here that the suspect continued to walk down Columbus Avenue. Okay, so, the woman did not seek medical attention, but I would have after that. Trust me, I would have sought medical attention. Because you don't want to take a chance. You really don't. I mean, if I had gotten an attack like that, I would have asked if I can go into an ambulance and try to get a CT scan or something. Because if they're offering it, you know, take it. But I guess she didn't want to. Then we got this going on here. So, this has been getting enough attention lately. Somebody be so cruel to kill someone like that. So here's the video from Channel 1.
Going through photos of singing coach Barbara Meyer-Gustern, Mikhail Gamili reflects on her friend and vocal instructor.
She had so much energy and so positive.
And by the way, Channel 1 spent 2 minutes on this as well.
This is not a way to go. This is just devastating and awful.
Gustern was attacked on March 10th as she was leaving her Chelsea apartment after rehearsal. Police say she was thrown to the ground by a passerby and hit her head. She was taken to Bellevue Hospital for massive bleeding to her head and died on March 15th. Gamili rushed to the hospital to see the 87-year-old.
So I managed to...
Alright, so they're going to show a picture of the suspect. That's what I want to know. Alright, I am fast forwarding, just taking a look. No, they're not even going to show a picture of the suspect. I mean, really, Channel 1 is so full of it. I mean, I understand that they're so focused on the woman who passed away, and I get all that. It's very unfortunate, but I mean, the community can get involved by finding this woman who killed her. Alright, who cares about you right now? I mean, you're not the suspect. Okay, here we go. So Crime Stoppers does have a picture. So this is who they're looking for. So I'll give you a suspect description if I can do the best I can, because I think I'm good at these. So Crime Stoppers is looking for a female Caucasian, possibly, I would say, in her late 20s to 30s. Looks like she has red hair. Last seen wearing a jacket? That appears to be a scarf. And I'm going to assume that since this happened in Chelsea, this likely happened probably, she probably got on the subway at 14th and 8th. That's what I'm assuming, but here we go. Alright, so Gustern's funeral will be held on Saturday at Holy Apostles Church in Chelsea. So the thing is, given that this woman was 87, and given that, you know, you're coming from Chelsea, alright, so let me give you an idea of how far Bellevue Hospital is from Chelsea. Let me give you an idea of how far this hospital is. Okay? So, let me do an illustration. I can thankfully do that because I have it right here. This is Bellevue Hospital, right here. Okay? Now, you're coming from Chelsea. Alright? That's a big difference. Coming from the west side to the east side of Manhattan. So that's a big difference. So if I were to, let's say, draw an arrow, let's draw an arrow from 14th and 8th on the AC and E. I would say, yeah, right here. I mean, that's a big distance. Right? That's a big distance. Trying to get cross town. And then you have to go on 14th Street, okay? Or either go up 8th Avenue, then go on 23rd just to get cross town. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, the west side of Manhattan really doesn't have a hospital, let alone an emergency room. So this woman's life was in danger because she had no access to an emergency room. Versus me, where I come from in Queens, you know, there's Queens General Hospital, there's Booth Memorial Medical, there's even Flushing Hospital, which, again, I really do not recommend going to that ER. It's not the best. And then you have Long Island Jewish. And even North Shore. I have access to 4 emergency rooms. Something happens. This woman only had 1 emergency room. So instead of focusing on trying to get, you know, or trying to catch a suspect, I think the people of Chelsea really need to speak out and complain that there's not a hospital. I mean, there's no hospital in this area. What else do you have? Another issue is they could have taken her to Mount Sinai Beth Israel, but the thing is their emergency room isn't as big as Bellevue's. So, just a shame. You know, this woman's life could have been saved if there was an emergency room much closer. Okay, so I want to get to this, because Channel 1 has nothing on their website about it. That's more urgent to get to right now. You want proof? You really want proof? There's nothing about the corrections officer shot in Queens. Nothing about it. So let's get to this. 2 off-duty corrections officers injured in Queens nightclub shooting. 2 off-duty corrections officers were caught in the hail of bullets during a Queens nightclub shooting early Saturday morning. Both officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were treated at a local hospital. So I just want to make sure you can read this. Sorry about that. I just caught myself. Law enforcement sources said the gunfire erupted at about 1:28 in the morning on Saturday, March 19th at the Showtime Bar and Lounge at 119-01 101st Avenue in South Richmond Hill. According to sources familiar with the investigation, the suspected shooter had gotten involved in a dispute inside the location. It was ultimately ejected from the premises by bar staff. So it says here, shortly after being thrown out of the bar, law enforcement said the suspect stood in front of the bar at 101st Avenue and pulling out a gun and began firing in the location. Police said that one of the off-duty corrections officers, a 29-year-old female, took a bullet to her left foot, while the other, a 31-year-old man, was hit in the left hand. After firing numerous shots, authorities said the suspect fled the scene in an unknown direction. Officers from the 102nd Precinct responded to the shooting. EMS rushed the officers to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center for treatment of their injuries. So far, no arrests have been made in the ongoing investigation. Police did not immediately provide the shooter's description. So, I mean, this got a lot of media attention. I know Channel 4 and Channel 7 did cover it yesterday. Because what happened was I accidentally left 7 on in my kitchen, but my living room TV did have Channel 4 on, so that's how I was able to keep an eye on this. Okay, so now we're going to move on to other stuff going on, because again, a lot of urgent stuff. This is what I wanted to get to. More shootings. I mean, what is going on here? And again, remember, we have Eric Adams playing around with Lori Lightfoot. And I don't mean the adult way. I mean, they're basically acting like children having playtime. That's how bad it is. So here we go. Detectives in Brooklyn and Queens are on the hunt for suspects responsible for 2 separate shootings on Saturday afternoon that left a pair of victims seriously injured. So, I know Channel 4 did cover this last night. The first shooting happened in East Flatbush at about 1:11 p.m. yesterday afternoon, Saturday, March 19th. A 25-year-old man took bullets near the corner of East 92nd Street and Ditmas Avenue. Officers from the 67 Precinct found the victim with multiple gunshot wounds to his chest and leg. EMS rushed the man to Brookdale University Hospital for treatment of injuries not considered life-threatening. So it says here, police were looking for a vehicle, a gray vehicle with Pennsylvania license plates. It was an Infiniti traveling southbound along East 92nd Street. Not long after, a man was shot in the back of the torso near Playground Nitty in the vicinity of 34th Avenue and 90th Street. Oh, Channel 4 did cover that. They didn't send a reporter, but they did cover that. This happened at 34th Avenue and 90th Street. So this was actually a teenager who got shot. Actually, it was a 15-year-old teenager. So, AM New York technically has their information wrong because Channel 4 said this was a teenager. Members of the 115th Precinct discovered the injured teenager while responding to a 911 call about the shooting. EMS rushed him to Elmhurst Hospital where his injuries were not considered life-threatening. Law enforcement sources said police were looking for 2 male suspects, both believed to be between 20 and 25 years old. One of the culprits wore a black t-shirt and blue jeans. The investigation into both shootings remained ongoing. So I'll show you where the other shooting happened. Show you it right now. We're gonna go to Jackson Heights. Right around here. Where is it? It say 34th and 90th. '34th and 90th. Okay. Yep, right around here. This is where it happened. So I know exactly where this is. This is right off the Q66. Yep, I know exactly where this is. Right by the CVS. I'll show you where this is. More closer look at it. So this is where it happened. So at least they got that correct. Yeah, see, this is where it happened. Playground 90. I know where this is. So there you go. I mean, Eric Adams is just laughing at us as usual. No surprise there. And then I want to get to this. And apparently, it looked like this also happened on Northern Boulevard. Oh, and this happened in Flushing. Thomas Song perished on March 14th, which was last Monday, after sustaining serious head injuries when a motorist struck him on March 11th on Northern Boulevard between 146th and 147th Street. The driver was coming out of a restaurant parking lot at 9:20 p.m. on Friday, March 11th, and crossed the roadway's double yellow line in painted median to make a left turn when he hit the senior citizen in the leftmost eastbound lane. Soon was trying to traverse the street in an opposite direction from south to north in the middle of the block and outside the marked crosswalk. A police spokesperson from the 109 precinct could not say where they got that piece of information from. Paramedics found the octogenarian. I want to look up what this means. I'll Google it in a different tag. A person who is from 80 to 89 years old. Okay, interesting. Alright, so the victim was taken to Booth Memorial Medical and succumbed to his wounds on Monday. The 52-year-old male driver stayed on the scene and police did not make any arrests, so at least it's not a hit and run. Ooh, and then look at this. This is the third person to die between August 2011. Wow. 6 collisions were near the same parking lot's exits. 68 previous crashes from 2011, including 80 people. The short stretch along the 6-lane Northern Boulevard had no marked crossings between the intersections, but is littered with such parking lots where drivers cross the sidewalk to enter and exit the road. So, funny enough, we're on Northern Boulevard. Let's go down Northern Boulevard, and we're going to take a look and see where 147th Street is. Because I know exactly where this is, by the way. So there's the 109, that's obvious. So I know exactly where this is. Right around here. Yep. So obviously this is where it happened. Right around here. Right around here. So this is what I wanted to read. This is what I wanted to read. Because there's a lot going on here. So let me organize these. before we get to the other stuff in Queens, what I want to do is read this. This is disturbing. Channel 1 should have at least covered this. Because they did cover something else in Queens. A construction crew came along human remains along the Hutchinson River Parkway. So this happened on Friday, March 18th. So this is in a wooded area on the northbound side of the parkway at exit 3 for Orchard Beach City Island. Construction workers called 911 after finding a human skull while surveying the area for the construction of a new exit ramp. Officers from the 45th Precinct responded and located the skull and other decomposed remains. Preliminary sources familiar with the investigation said the remains appear to be that of a senior woman. It is not known how long the decomposing body was at that location. So again, Channel 1 should have covered this. I mean, this is a big deal. Human body remains found on the Hutchinson River Parkway. I mean, this should have been priority number 1. No question. But guess what Channel 1's covering, you may be wondering. Let's go to Queens. Okay, where's that story about... Okay, this is unusual. Where's the story about... Yeah, here we go. This is it. Here we go again. A pre-pandemic problem is biting us in the butt.
I was sitting in the car talking to my daughter on the phone, and all of a sudden I heard a gigantic crash. And I jumped. And I said, something's wrong. I got out of my car and I looked.
What Greta Hunter found? This hunk of metal that fell off the J-line at the Halsey Street station high above Broadway and landed on the roof of her car.
Walked around the car and I saw this on the ground in the back of my car.
After Hunter moved her car, she showed New York One the damage.
There's a rust mark here.
This fits perfect.
So there you go. They actually almost spent 3 minutes covering this. I gotta give them credit on something, right? Okay. So, let me read you this. This is what I really wanted to read. This is what I really wanted to read. This happened in Astoria Thursday afternoon. So let me move this to the left so you can read this. 27-year-old victim was seen urinating from the northbound R train platform at the 46th Street station in Astoria. This happened on Thursday, March 17th. Okay, 3:33 p.m. Appeared to be intoxicated, so probably got a little out of line for St. Patrick's Day. When he slipped and fell into the path of the oncoming subway, he was not pushed. So it says here, EMS came to the scene. The man was pronounced dead. So, due to federal HIPAA laws, the victim's identity was not revealed because the family does have to be notified. And then this happened on the E train. So, 2 E-train riders were allegedly bashed over their skulls by a bottle-swinging subway rider earlier this month. Police from the 110 precinct in Elmhurst, along with Transit District 20, are looking for the suspect. Just before midnight on Thursday, March 3rd, the man engaged in a shouting match with a 34-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman as the E-train approached the Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue subway station. During the argument, the assailant pulled out a liquor bottle which he used to strike both of the victims. EMS responded to the crime scene and transported both victims to Elmhurst Hospital, where they both received treatment for lacerations to their head. So, we do have a suspect description from Crime Stoppers. He's described as having a dark complexion and bald head with a thin mustache. He was last seen wearing a jacket and dark pants. By the way, I'm going to assume that this suspect's probably around 5'10", 5'11". Just giving an accurate height here. And then this is disturbing. Creeping corona fondling 11-year-old girl. So this happened on March 14th, last Monday. This happened at 7:30 in the morning. The suspect approached the youngster near the intersection of 43rd Avenue and 97th Place and proceeded to grab the child's rear end. So the police are calling this sex abuse. So the man took off in an unknown direction. The NYPD released surveillance images of the suspect, who was last seen wearing a gray hooded jacket with horizontal zippers across the chest, blue face mask, dark pants, and white sneakers. So, I'm going to say he's around 5 feet, just to give a accurate description. So this is the last one we're going to read, because I do not want to go into the lunacy in Brooklyn, because then that will just literally drive my patience even further down. Suspect allegedly stole donation boxes from a mosque on Hillside Avenue. So here we go. This happened on Wednesday, March 9th. The suspect broke into the Afra Islamic Center at 181-14 Hillside Avenue by forcing a door open just after 10 a.m. on Wednesday, March 9th. Once inside, the man removed 2 of the mosque's donation boxes containing approximately $2,000 in cash before fleeing in an unknown direction. There were no injuries reported as a result of the burglary. So the suspect is a man described as a medium complexion, dark-colored hair. He was last seen wearing a light-colored hooded sweatshirt, black jacket, black pants, and white sneakers. So let's look up this address, and then we're going to wrap up this video. So obviously, I know where this is, given that it's right on top of the Jamaica 179th Street subway station. Let's see where the mosque is, because I know there's a mosque around here somewhere. Yeah, I believe this is it right here. Yeah, this is where the mosque is. Okay. Yeah, I know where this is. Oh, this is advanced care. Okay. So that's a little bit unusual. Where's the mosque? Afrada Islamic Center. Okay, maybe I gotta look it up this way. Okay, this is a little bit unusual. Where is the mosque? Unless this is it right here. Oh, it must be in the shopping plaza. It must be, unless I'm wrong. Okay, so that's a little bit unusual, because I know this stretch of Hillside Avenue very well. It's right on top of the subway station. But in that regard, we're going to wrap this up. I've lost all my patience with Channel 1 today. And, you know, I had to cover what was important today. I had to cover, you know, what happened in Bayside, because no other media source is covering it. It's so disgraceful what this TV station has become. Shame on you, Channel 1. And, you know, as long as there's major stuff going around in Queens or any other major thing, you know I'm going to cover it. Because I cannot be silent. So that's it. Thank you for watching.